But this session is building our membership in our existing club, revitalizing our clubs through getting new members. And so many of us are struggling with that right now. So hopefully we'll put out some points here today that will help you. We have a great panel to help us with this. We have past Council Chair George Head is the Global Membership Team Coordinator in District 34B. He's a member of the Prattville Lions Club, and he has served in almost every position there ever was, up to and including the council chair during his many years as a Lion. And he brings a wealth of knowledge to us. So welcome, past Council Chair George. And then we also have the Global Membership Team Coordinator for District 34C, Lion Jeff Penninger, and he is a lion on the go, I'm here to tell you. He is the Program Supervisor for the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs. He's the current president of the Pike Road Lions Club and president of Alabama Lions Site. And one of Jeff's favorite things, and I just love this, is that he likes to do every time he gets half a chance is sing Frank Sinatra songs. So if we happen to finish up way early, maybe we can get him to sing us a tune. But Lion George, why do you think it's important that we keep bringing new members into our existing clubs?
Well, if we're going to do anything to live up to our motto of we serve, we got to have someone there to do the serving.
That's the short and sweet of it. It sure is. Lion Jeff, you have anything you'd like to add on that?
Oh, I agree. They're just, you mentioned Frank Sinatra. One of my favorite songs of Frank Sinatra's is "The Best Is Yet to Come," and the best is yet to come with us. But like exactly what was said, we've got to act on things now in order for that best to arrive. So there's just a lot of work to do, but we wouldn't be here if we weren't strong workers. So I know we can do it.
Like I said, we talked about earlier, it's a labor of love, and that's what keeps us going, and that's what keeps us inviting others to join with us. But there's several benefits to being a Lion, and Lion George and Lion Jeff are going to talk to us about those.
Good morning, Lions. Benefits of being a Lion. You all should know this, but let's put a few things out there that we and you can share with prospective members. First item on the slide is make a difference. Becoming a member of your local Lions Club, you join with some 1.4 million other dedicated servants around the world who work daily to make a difference in their communities. Alone, one can do so little. Together, many can do so much. You may have heard that said before. And while doing so, a new Lion will feel proud to serve their community as part of the world's largest service club organization. Many of you have experienced that special feeling when you have helped maybe a child or maybe a senior adult get glasses or a special person and get that special hug. And there are many more cases for that proud feeling. As you serve, you just don't know who you may come in contact with while working on a community project or while just attending a club meeting, hearing a speaker, having access to a speaker. Networking contacts are made that can help members further develop in their business or social life. Gaining Lion credibility. Being recognized within your community as a Lion, which most clubs are. Helping first responders during this COVID pandemic, providing meals or PPE to those on the front line daily. It's great to be a Lion. Men, women, families working and serving together to make the community better. And developing new friendships. Mayors, city and council officials, business owners, bankers, church leaders, business owners, and the list goes on and on and on. Community leaders serve as Lions. The opportunity is there for each member to become friends with these people. And each of these leads back to number one. You are making a difference as a line. Thank you, each and every one of you, for serving.
Thank you, Lion George. And, you know, the unique thing about the friendships is you go to conventions, even like the international convention, you meet life and make lifelong friendships. And you may only see them once a year. They may be clear from the other side of the globe, but it's a lasting friendship that lions share with each other. And it's just undescribable how good of a feeling that makes. Lion Jeff, you want to talk about some more?
Would love to. Just continuing with the benefits of being a lion, just like Lion George just mentioned, you know, you have an incredible resource available with Lions Club. It's the Lions Learning Center, and this is such an extensive list of things that are at your fingertips. Corporations pay tons of money every year to, whether it's outside trainers, inside trainers, they pay a ton to find resources and communicate them. With the Lions Learning Center, you have immediate access to that, and it's not just a few very limited resources. It's a variety of resources. Everything from planning an event, and it doesn't just go into broad brush on planning an event. I mean, there are very detailed lists on how they should be organized. All you have to do is familiarize yourself with it, and there's nothing to it. Just search for ABC event, and you're going to find something, and press view or download, and there it is. Bam, you've got it. But you know, that's what's amazing. We not only have the access, but instead of corporations which have to allocate some type of resources to it, it's free to access as a lion. So this is something we should always take advantage of, that we have a free knowledge base, which few people have. Another benefit of being a lion is you have the opportunity to serve with family. Excuse me, and this is a wonderful thing. For instance, some clubs have, for instance, if you want a couple to be members in a club, some clubs offer a discount for a couple, a reduced rate if for instance a husband and wife. And of course, I think something else which needs to be on the horizon is the opportunity to have larger families, and there again more adjusted rates possibly, to have larger families as members too. And this can include older kids, or it may even include slightly younger, but I know there's certain limitations with that on what we do as far as including kids into Leo Club, for instance. But the opportunities are there for expanding on this. This is a way to increase those membership rolls almost instantly. So if one person, if you quote just ask, which we know how wonderful the Just Ask program is, if you just ask someone, don't stop there. Ask that person if they have family, and would their family be interested, and expand the conversation. We can't limit ourselves to just one person at a time. We've got to take advantage of this. It just, as was said earlier, the more members, the more opportunities that we're going to have to serve. So it's very critical that we don't limit ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Lion Jeff. If we were to go to a club meeting and ask everyone there, why do you think it is valuable, or what benefit is there to being a lion, and you would get a different answer from everyone in there. And so they search for different things from being a lion. And a lot of people say, oh, it's so hard to try to come up with new members. Well, Lions Clubs International listened, and they came up with a program, a publication a few years ago that, in my opinion, is one of the best publications that Lions International has ever produced. It really takes you through the process of getting those new members for your club. And so I think it's really important that we spend some time on that today. It is a downloadable brochure that you can print out, and it's ME300. But let's toss it back over to Past Council Secretary George, and he's going to kind of start us on that journey of just asking.
Thanks, Line Ron. And I agree with you. This is one of the best publications that LCI has. And we all know they have many, many, many hundreds of publications. And this Just Ask brochure is a simple system that works to form new clubs and as well as recruiting new members for your existing club today. I will begin with a brief introduction to Just Ask. Then we will discuss the process during the remainder of our session this morning. And while this session is on conducting a dedicated membership growth event, it's important to understand, and I will always point out, that with Lions, every day, every meeting should be a membership growth event. But we're going to talk about a special dedicated growth event today. And remember, Lions, membership is by invitation only. Each of you are a Lion for some reason, but you are a Lion because someone asked you to. So just ask. Just Ask is a new member recruiting guide. It's a simple system and it has a lot of common sense in so many ways, as we will see. But most important, it's a guide. The information provided in this brochure is quite excellent as it is presented. But also, remember, it can be adjusted to fit the needs of your specific dedicated effort. As with any LCI resource, and remember, LCI is an international organization. What may work in Japan or China or California may not work in rural Alabama. I always love to say that. Just use your common sense and to what may be best for you, and apply and consider always your club, your way. The brochure itself, as Ron mentioned, can be downloaded from the website, but you can order a print version. Just go online, do a search at the LCI website for Just Ask or the form number ME300, and it takes you directly to it. You should have it. You can order it, but your GMTs, such as Jeff and I, should have a supply of these for you, and your district governor should also have some. Our panel today are going to discuss some of the main points of Just Ask, starting with step one. Are we ready for more members? As with any event, preparation should lead the way. You got to prepare your club, advanced planning. The strength of your membership and the health of your club will determine your ability to serve your community. So keep in mind that more members mean more hands to serve. Decide what you want your club to be. For a successful membership growth event, all club members, and I said all, should be involved in some way and should have input in this growth effort. First, review where the club is now and where you want to be. Question, are you a club with only a few members, maybe 5, maybe 10, and would you like to double your membership? Are you basically an inactive club? Sorry, but we do have some of those in the state. An inactive club that meets just every so often, just to eat, just to talk. Are you currently providing service within the community, or have you reached that stage where you talk about what we used to do, rather than still providing a service in your community? Identify what you want your club to accomplish. Is it time to change? If so, all members must be on board and committed to that change. As you are in the planning stage, commit to we serve. Commit to do away with the talk that we've always done it this way, and welcome new ideas. Decide what your goals are. Ask yourself why your club wants new members and what you as a club want to accomplish. What is the image of your club in your community? How are we currently conducting a club meeting? Do we need to change? Are we known around town as an old man's club? Sorry, but so many are. And if so, it's time to change that. Why does your club want new members? There are smaller clubs who meet just to play cards. So these may need another member just to have enough to have four to fill a table to play cards. Also, we have clubs that continue to be all male. Maybe it's time to change that. Your club, your way. Don't forget that. More members mean more hands to serve. Younger members mean fresh ideas for service. A diverse membership means making a difference within the community. I can tell you that without women members, clubs could not get much done today at all. As you work to consider who to ask, identify the target group that you want to invite to come to the lines. And remember, as you grow, your club, your way. Who will help recruit? All club members should be involved with the growth event. You heard me say that before, didn't you? But a committee working together as a team should lead and guide the effort, with one line serving as chair. When forming the team, try to best utilize the known strength of your members as you plan for the event. In organizing, prioritize what needs to be done. Decide what type of meeting you will hold for your prospective members. Begin planning for advance to allow plenty of time for scheduling, sending invitations, etc., leading up to the event. Don't wait for the last minute and try to rush into something. Promoting the effort. Decide how you will promote your membership growth event. This will depend on the abilities of the club members. Maybe some techies in your club that can use social media or just basically use print media, or just, hey, everybody can use word of mouth. Send personal invitations by mail. A personal touch helps make a prospect feel wanted, and that's important. Make them feel wanted. Reaching out, perhaps using those members that have that unique ability of gab, just to talk, especially about Lions clubs and line service. Let them make contact with your target prospects. Maybe a phone call to build up the event, and then make them feel wanted. And in welcoming, use current or past club officers who have perhaps received some LCI training to conduct the informal meeting and to lead new member orientation. And that's most important. Let them know what it's all about. Monitoring programs are available to make them feel welcome as line also, and these club leaders have received training on that in many occasions. But all club members should put forth an effort to make new members feel a part of the club, and by all means, avoid being cliquish in your club. So, in summary, step one is events preparation, creating an action plan for your club's growth event. So, just ask.
Thank you, Lion. George, you brought out some very interesting points during that. And let's face it, all of us or most of us have one time or another maybe been a little leery of inviting someone to join. And we've got a lot of clubs, mine included. We need to do some internal housekeeping, and we need to get our stuff in order before we start inviting other members to serve alongside of us. Many times the members just think, well, you know, I don't want to invite anybody to this. So taking a look at ourselves as we're preparing for a membership growth event is always wise, and you work out stuff, gives you an opportunity to make some changes within the club that will also help you, and trying to decide how many members you want. You know, it's not, well, Jerome Thompson, who's the GAT leader for Consular Area 1, said we have to have 3 members. Now, look at it, you know, if we had 3 more members, we could serve 100 more people with our diabetes project. I think in terms of what these new members, the value they will add to your club and the service you'll be able to provide to the community. And Lion Jeff is going to take us on down the road through this Just Ask process. Lion Jeff?
Thank you, Lion Ron. Those were excellent points you had. You're exactly right. A lot of times people get into that comfort zone, and they may be thinking they want to have new members in their club, but they're not doing anything about it. And a lot of people, a lot of club members don't even know who do we recruit. And that's our first question moving forward with step 2, creating your club's growth plan. Who will we recruit? Well, a lot of times the answer is right in front of us. All you need to do is just ask your members for potential recruits. That would be a great starting point. Ask the people who are directly in front of you at least once a month, once, twice, sometimes even more. So ask them for if they have any potential recruits. You can ask organizations and businesses. These same members you need to utilize. Ask them to put down the names of 3 businesses, groups, or organizations. Put your members to work. They want to work. They wouldn't be there with you at that moment unless they weren't ready to work. And that's the great thing about Lions. We have a blue and gold collar, I had it reversed, a gold and blue collar work ethic, which is, we're workers. We want to work. And the next thing is my favorite thing. I call it the recruiting wheel of fortune. I know we talked about the recruiting wheel. I kind of add my little twist to it, recruiting wheel of fortune, because you are bound to have a good fortune of members if you just follow, if you do nothing else, follow these ideas for recruiting people. For instance, on the recruiting wheel, the options, you have all kinds of options to recruit people. You can recruit relatives, brothers, sisters, the list goes on and on. Families, as I mentioned earlier. You can recruit friends, people, lifelong friends, new acquaintances. It doesn't matter. A lot of times people are wanting to meet new friends with being in the Lions. You can mention it to your neighbors. You can mention it at church, for instance. Local professionals. Let's say you go to the eye doctor. You talk about an opportunity that has our name written all over it. Our signature pillar is sight. Of course, our other pillars are extremely important, but you look at our rich history as Lions with Helen Keller and the incredible impact that sight-related work has had through the Lions. If ever there was a group to talk to, it would be your local eye doctors or eye-related doctors. It could be your general practitioner, your dentist. The list goes on and on. You could talk to, for instance, attorneys. You name it. Attorneys, heads of associations, school principals, police chiefs, fire chiefs, community leaders. The list is endless here. That's what's great about the recruiting wheel of fortune, is that you have an endless stream of opportunities. But as I say, you need that gold and blue collar work ethic. And I know everybody here has it. There's no question. But when you're faced with a pandemic, we're going to have to get up and do something. Like we said earlier, we need to be proud of who we are as Lions and not afraid to mention it. At minimum, if say you're not feeling great one day, but you've got to run to the grocery store, put on a Lions t-shirt or something, anything. If you don't feel like talking that day at the grocery store, at least put on something where somebody else might feel like talking. That's happened to me lots of times. But the main thing, that'll give you a little break occasionally, but the main thing is you've got to go out there. We've got to go out there and talk about Lions and what we are. Moving forward to where and when we'll recruit. One of the ideas our district has is to have a membership drive, and I intentionally pause through, a membership drive through. And this is an idea that we're discussing with clubs now, where it would be more of an adapting to the pandemic. We're hearing a lot from clubs right now that, oh, well, we haven't met for several months. We're probably not meeting to the end of the year. That will not cut it. I mean, I'm sorry, but that will not cut it. There needs to be some type of activity. A membership drive-through, for instance, would allow people to drive through, and it's not like we're going to pass out a brochure and then watch them leave us in the dust. It's nothing like that. We can pass out a brochure, an application. At minimum, we would want each card to have a little skin in the game. We might be cooking hot dogs, for instance. Give them a hot dog, but in return for that hot dog or whatever you wanted to do, candy or anything, but let's stick with hot dogs. If you gave them a hot dog, they would at minimum need to give you contact information so that we could build our database, so that we will at least expand on that. They may not be interested in Lions at this point, but I'm sure they'll remember that type of event, and that we didn't just sit around and close the doors and not even leave a light on for months. I'm hearing more and more of that, and that is not what we are. That is not who we are. We cannot give up. Just like Lion Bubba said, this is not about giving up during the pandemic. This is about fighting it. So we need to fight this as Lions and stir the pot and get some people involved. What materials will we recruit with? That's another thing, just lots of options. We can update our website. For instance, there's always the option of a free website through eClubhouse. That's always a great option. And as Lion Pete mentioned earlier too, Constant Contact is a great opportunity too. It not only can provide mass mailings, but you can have, if you want a little slicker website, Constant Contact offers that too. So a lot of opportunity there. And of course, as Lion Pete said too, social media, for instance, Facebook is a huge opportunity with the freebies that are available, or even paid ads through Facebook. And none of this means that you have to stop using, old school publications. Those are always available from LCI, and those are always very effective too. Now, our next question is, how will we promote the informational meeting? Of course, as I say, the members are right in front of us. Let's put every single person in a club to work. For instance, another idea is you can ask each member to bring minimum of one non-member to the informational meeting. That's always a great thing, and you may have a contest to see how many non-members are coming and how many sign. And I know some clubs have said yes, they've tried that, and they've kind of thrown in the towel on that. There again, you can't give up on this stuff. This is a numbers game in the best of senses. It's a numbers game. You've got to go through a lot of no's before you hear a yes. So we cannot take a no and settle for it, just like closing the doors for months. We can't settle. We have got to move forward, and this is our time to move forward. You could place ads, for instance, in the newspapers, as I mentioned. You can use some of the traditional forms of advertising. Newspaper, newsletters, or magazines, for instance. A lot of times there's a not just a senior magazine, but there are different magazines available at your local restaurants these days. Of course, you can always invite potential members through email. And if you do decide to invite them through email, make sure you get an RSVP, just a better way of tracking that information. The main thing is just keep on keeping on. and don't take no for an answer. Keep on being proud of the lion emblem. There's too much history behind this, behind our organization, and not take complete advantage of. As we move forward to step 3, implementing your club growth plan. The next opportunity is to reach out to your target prospects. There again, reaching out, it's great to say hello. We always want that. Just like was said earlier, the last thing you want is to be cliquish in your club, because believe me, people may not say anything, but just like you and I have a radar, which we trust more than anything, that instinct tells us more than the biggest book. But when you're talking to someone, don't just settle for, don't just settle for their name and give them a Coke and a smile. Don't do that. Try to expand on it. And if you're having difficulty expanding on that, just same as was mentioned earlier, get someone involved with you who is a little more comfortable with talking. But frankly, I've talked to all you guys. Practically everybody here is comfortable with talking. We wouldn't be in Lions if we weren't able to talk. But talk to these people and try to get information. For instance, I talked to a lady recently, and first, it was that standard drawing room conversation. You know how every conversation starts. For instance, it may start with weather or whatever. But the more I talked with her, it's like she mentioned something about how much she enjoyed writing. So then we got in a conversation about that. And the thing is, when you hear, for instance, that passion, you could tell she was very passionate about writing. So then you dig a little deeper. I found out that she used to write press releases for her newspaper in Eufaula, for instance. Anyway, it went on and on and on. Long story short, we have our previous PR person in our club passed away recently. Wonderful man, Bob Bostic, just very close to him. But and we need another PR person. So this is the perfect chance to involve her. And same thing with her husband. I wound up talking to her husband. There again, things start a little slow and very nice, of course, but you start talking, you realize you have a lot of things in common. So you can't stop with a drawing room conversation. You've got to continue involving people, talking them up. You've got to have something that lures them to a meeting. And that's what happens. This couple is coming to our meeting next week, for instance. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. We're continuing to have Zoom meetings. And like I mentioned, people are saying they're not meeting. At minimum, they need to have a Zoom meeting, if nothing else, at minimum. And when you say you're hosting an informational Zoom meeting, one of the things to consider, lastly, is the time of that meeting. If you're meeting, for instance, like we are next Thursday night, second Thursday every month at 6:30, don't have an informational meeting on the first Tuesday at 5:45. That is the worst thing to do. Establish consistency and have a meeting at the same time that you meet. If nothing else, subconsciously, they're being helped to remember, well, hey, this was at 6:30 on a Thursday, second Thursday. So it's just establishing those touch points for people. And the final point, an all-important point, is the informational meeting, the food. Just kidding. That's not the most important point. But in a lot of ways, it may be in the South. In the South, I can remember growing up, for instance, there are some little ladies I remember at church get-togethers with my grandparents who I remember them. It was like they had a ham under their arm, and it seems like they always had a ham under their arm. But don't serve a full meal at the informational meeting. Just have very light refreshments, just to keep it very simple and basic. And again, if you've taken nothing else from this today, just to reiterate, the recruiting wheel of fortune, you cannot go wrong with. These are our roots as far as attracting people. It gives us opportunity to talk to everybody. We have no excuses saying that there are no potential members. Thank you.
Thank you, Lion Jeff. Can y'all see why Lion George and Lion Jeff are invited to be panelists on this hour? Their love and their enthusiasm for lions is second to none, and we really appreciate them and all they do for lionism in Alabama. You know, the number one answer for asking someone, well, why did it take you so long to become a lion? It's simple. They say, because I wasn't asked. Because I wasn't asked. Now, there's so much potential out there that we are not tapping into because we're not asking. Now, we have some people in clubs that love to go out and ask people to join. We have other people that know folks that they would like to have in the club, but they're scared to death and would not ask them for anything in the world. So if we pair those two people up in the club, you give me the names and I'll go ask them. I love to do that. And so that way it kind of takes the pressure off the people that know them but won't ask. And because we don't want to lose those prospects because you're just afraid to ask them. A point that Jeff brought up was about gaining some information. Anytime you're doing a project, if you can give some little kind of giveaway, something so that the person there will give you their name, phone number, email address, any kind of contact information that you can get from them, and they don't realize it, but they are building our prospective member database. And we can start communicating with them, telling just as simple as telling them what the club is doing, and you're receiving this because you were a supporter of our club. So if you can get that information from them in any kind of way that you can think of, it can be really beneficial as you start to build your growth event and things like that. I would be hard pressed to think of a service project that I've attended in the last 20 years, but what someone didn't come up and thank me for being a lion and told a story how lions changed their life or a family member's life. They're sold on us because they're telling you they are. How many times do we let them get away with asking them, well, why don't you join us? Why don't you help us continue that legacy and maybe pick up some new members there? Now, there was a program developed several years ago, and it has been refined a little bit along the way, but it is an excellent, excellent process, and it's called the Membership Growth Event. We try to get away from the word membership drive. That just sounds kind of cold, but Membership Growth Event is more warm and welcoming, and it has its own toolbox at lionsclubs.org, and you just on the search line you put in Membership Growth Event Toolbox, and it's going to bring all of this up. If these steps are followed on everything in this toolbox, it has been proven over and over and over again that you will have a successful event. And some people have tried to cut corners on it. The more you cut, the more your chance of success is. So I encourage you to look at this, take a hard look at it, talk with your club about it, because we want everybody's involvement to make it a great event. But there is a preparation checklist that breaks it down from 6 weeks out from your event. So you pick a date that you're going to have your growth event, back up 6 weeks, and it tells you a little something to do each and every week. So then when it comes for the night of the big event, you're prepared, and not instead of trying to rush and get everything all together the last couple of days before, this kind of spreads it out, makes it a whole lot easier. It gives you a sample agenda that you can follow. Of course, the agenda does not have to be exactly like the agenda that we provide in this toolbox, but it gives you kind of it'll give you an idea of the flow of the meeting and things that you can do to make sure you cover everything that you need to cover. There's a sample letter that you can customize to your club that you can send out to prospective members. Many of those are gained from the recruiting wheel that Lion Jeff talked about. And we send those letters out to the people that the club members identify as someone they'd like to have in the club. There's even a sample script for phone calls. So say a week before your membership growth event, you give them a call and, you know, we're so excited that you're going to come to our event. We really look forward to having you. You can offer to come and pick them up or whatever, but it gives you a script for those that are or pick up the phone to talk to somebody about membership, and all of a sudden they forget what they're going to say. So this sample script is right there for you. It can be adapted to fit your club, and then there's even a follow-up script for 3 days prior that you're just confirming, and you ask them if they're bringing a guest, because at 7 days you're going to ask them, you know, tell them they're welcome to bring a guest with them. And so at your 3 days, you're asking them if they're bringing a guest, so you can make plans to make sure that you have proper seating and snacks or whatever, so that it will be a successful event. So I know we've run through a lot of things really quickly, but this is to prepare you, to give you an idea of the tools that are available for you to use if your club wants to grow and become a more vibrant entity in your community. So the number one is the Just Ask brochure that you can download. Number two, this membership growth event toolbox. And I wholeheartedly wish you to will take advantage of these at lionsclubs.org, and you'll get those brochures. Lion Jerome, I'm sure we've had some questions typed into the chat box. Would you like to share some of those with us?
Absolutely. We've had a very good interactive discussion going on in the chat box, as well as listening to an outstanding program. One of the questions that come up, is there a way for us to offer a corporate type membership, maybe to an eye doctor or someone that can't come to the meeting, and have just his office be a member instead of a particular individual?
We can, and especially if they are a nonprofit, we have the Join Together program, which allows that group to maintain their own identity, but also to become Lions. We can take a group like that would like to stay together, and we can make them a specialty club so that they can have their focus that they've been working on. If they don't have enough for a specialty club, we could offer them to be a branch. But there's several ways that we can make sure that anyone that's interested in being a Lion, if they can't join our club, that we can make arrangements to where they can be a Lion.
Another Lion asked, where can we find that recruiting wheel of fortune that Lion Jeff spoke of?
Oh, that's a good question, because I'm sure there's others that like to know that too. The new club development guide, which was rewritten within the last 18 months, and it is expanded upon, it is included in that. The new club development guide, you just go to lionsclubs.org, search block, new club development guide, and there's also a lot of other things in that guide that's as valuable as the recruiting wheel.
Awesome. Miss Teresa, if you don't mind to mute yourself, that would be very good. Ron, the other question here was the entrance fee waiver that Alliant had read that people could join their club without paying the entrance fee. Do you have more details on that?
I sure do. The COVID pandemic has reached us in so many ways, and it's caused economic hardships for so many people because they've been out of work or reduced hours or whatever. So in an effort to assist these people that would like to become Lions Clubs International has waived the entrance fee now through December 31st for anyone that would like to join. And that would be for charter members joining a new club. It would be for members that are joining an existing club. And they've also waived the transfer fee with a Lion transferring from one club to another, which is normally $20. The entrance fee for a new member is normally $35. So that really would help us using that recruiting wheel, just asking to get these new members, and we can say, hey, if you join now by December 31st, I can get you in for free with Lions International. So now's a great time to ask and take advantage of that.
Are there still the discounts for veterans and family members and student members and Leo members, or has all that been canceled in lieu of this entrance fee waiver?
No, Lions Clubs International continues to be very generous in affording us programs that we can use to bring more Lions on board. The Veterans Program, thank goodness, has been extended until June the 30th of next year, where if you were a veteran, you do not have to pay an entrance fee. Now, that will be after December 31st because no one has to pay right now. But after that, we still have that we can offer to a veteran. If you were a Leo, there is a waiver. If you're a student, there is a waiver of the entrance fee. So there's many different programs that, regardless of when it is, that Lions International has allowed us to not charge them an entrance fee. And that is a huge deal to a lot of people. It's a deal maker. If their money's a little tight and we offer them to do it for free, it can mean the difference between them saying yes or saying no.
Although we have a few other questions, I think that we're almost out of time. I'll let you wrap up. We'll continue to answer questions in the chat box and privately with people as they're raised.
Okay. We definitely want to thank everyone for attending this morning and taking time out of your busy Saturday morning. We're glad that you decided to spend it with us, and hopefully we have shared some things with you that can help you to grow your club. Thank you to our two excellent panelists. Their enthusiasm and their excitement gets me pumped up every time I hear them talk, and I hope it has you too. And we're always there to help and grow the membership. And of course, thank you to Pastor National Director Jerome for keeping things running behind the scenes.